All right, hello friends. You're probably watching this because I'm having trouble with my technology tonight, and I'm sorry I couldn't be here, but I'm really excited to tell you all about starting seeds. I have this little PowerPoint I'm looking at so I can remember everything I want to talk about. Um, Advantages of starting seeds indoors versus buying your plants at the store. It's perfectly all right to go buy your starts from the store in the spring. You can go to any garden center, you can buy like already grown plants and then plant them in the ground, and you can have lovely vegetables and herbs in the summer. Um, but there are some advantages to growing them yourself. Um, you have more options and more variety if you can grow things yourself. You can find things from seed, lots of different kinds of things. Maybe there's a variety of tomato that you want to grow that you can't find at the garden center. So you can start it yourself. Another reason is that it will save you money, especially if you like to grow a lot of things. It can be very expensive to buy already grown plants at the store. And the other reason for starting seed yourself is that it's so much fun. And I'm probably saying that because I'm a plant nerd and I love growing things. But the growing season here is so short, and I really need to be amongst the green things of this world. So I love being able to start my seeds all the way in January or February. Sometimes I start as early as that, and then I have an opportunity to play in the dirt some more. Where do you get your seeds? You can buy your seeds at any garden supply store. I buy mine there. I also have a couple of websites that I like to buy from that have kind of maybe unusual or like really good varieties of plants. So we really like Johnny's. They have good stuff. Rishin Seeds is awesome because they are located in New York. So they're acclimated to our zone 5 growing conditions. So that's really nice. And then sometimes I just go to Lowe's and get, like a fairy morse, whatever seeds. So anyway, that's really fun because like for example, we have this Carmen pepper that we really love to grow, and the only place we can find the seeds is at Johnny's. We can't find plants that are already grown, so we start from seed, and then we have just these delicious peppers every year. It's wonderful. So now we have to talk about your seeds. So there's certain times where you choose not to start from seed. Some things don't grow well from seed, and so it's better just to get a plant. And some things are just really difficult to grow. Like I can't grow cauliflower. I tried growing cauliflower last year, and then it didn't work, and I found out it's really difficult to grow. Some plants mature so fast, it's just not worth your time. So yeah. And then also, say you think about growing a garden in May when it's time to plant, and you wouldn't have any time to plant your seeds. You've got to think ahead, and those are times where you just probably want to buy your own plants from the store. So what do you need to start seeds? This is the fun part. So you can use anything to start seeds. If all you have is a cottage cheese container, you can start seeds in a cottage cheese container. You just need to poke some holes in the bottom with like a knife. Just poke it in there and go like this, maybe like 3 holes. Make sure that it has adequate drainage. I like to use nursery trays. I used to work at a garden center, so I love using the normal nursery trays, and I plant a lot of stuff, so it makes sense for me to do that. And then usually I have a whole tray of them, but I have like these that I put inside the tray, and then I fill them with soil. So, but you don't need to have anything fancy like this. This isn't expensive either. You can find these at like Agway for like $1. So I feel like it's worth it for us because we often grow 10 trays of stuff, and we'll get into why that would be important to have, equipment if you're growing a lot of things. So other than your containers, you would obviously need some soil, right? You need some soil to grow it in, but you don't want to go out to the garden and just grab whatever soil you have in the garden, because that soil has microorganisms in it that are not good for starting seeds, and it also doesn't have the right makeup to be a good medium for growing seeds and getting them to germinate. So what you would need is some good garden soil from your garden center, and you can use pretty much any potting mix as long as it's not really chunky. When I'm chunky, when I say chunky, I mean like pieces, really big pieces of bark. You want kind of a finer mixture. I like just a regular Miracle-Gro potting mix, and this year Eliza introduced me to the Miracle-Gro Moisture Control, and that's been really great because it's kind of a finer mix. So this is how I mix it up when I'm only doing a little bit in my kitchen. Usually I just mix it up in a glass bowl, and normally I have more than this, but I was going to only do like 2 of these today. So, and then you just fill it up and you kind of pat it down and you make sure that there aren't any air holes. It's important not to have air holes. And then you would get to plant your seeds. Obviously you want to pre-wet your soil. So that's the other thing, is you've got to make sure that your seeds have soil. They're going to need soil to germinate. So let's talk about planting time. So the package of the seed is your friend. So every package has information on the back of it. These are some Snapdragon seeds. I know there's no picture, but they're going to be beautiful. So on my seed packet, it will tell me when to grow it. It will tell me if I need to direct seed these in the soil outside and like wait until it's warm enough and then plant them directly. Some plants just don't transplant well, and so it wouldn't make sense to grow them from seed and then transplant them just to have them die. So you're going to start your seeds inside, and a lot of times it'll tell you how many weeks before the last frost date. I have seeds that have to be started 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost date. Some of them are 3 to 4 weeks. It just varies. And so you need to know your last frost date. The last frost date is the average time in the season where you're going to have your last frost. And a lot of plants that are tender, like our garden plants, some of them, or a lot of them, like our tomatoes and our peppers and our cucumbers, do not like cold weather and they will die. So you've got to know this date. You can find this date by your zip code, putting that information into Google, and it can tell you on a map like where you fall. I think we're 5B, zone 5B. I guess I just mentioned zones. We don't care about zones at this point. Sorry about that. We care about the average last frost date for planting purposes. So for me personally, because I live on top of a hill and it's colder in Freeville, Dryden area, my last frost date is around May 21st. If you live by the lake, it's probably 2 weeks earlier than that. You probably have a longer growing season than I do. But just pay attention to that when you're planting these, and start your plants at the appropriate time. It doesn't make sense to start them earlier than it says. If you plant your tomatoes 3 months before you can plant them outside, they're actually going to be weaker. They're going to transplant less easily than if you had followed the package directions. So the package is your friend. Next is, so now you've got your seeds planted. According to the package, it'll tell you how deep to plant them and what conditions they need to germinate. Things that will help them along. So I have this nifty little dome that I like to put on top of my seeds that are starting. This one's a little dirty, so sorry about that. We reuse them. This little seed starting dome that I put on top, you can find this at your garden supply store, and this one happens to have a vent, so that's really nice because sometimes the heat needs to come out of it. But that's really helpful because what you're going to need to start seeds is enough moisture around the seed that it can germinate quickly and well, and not like dry out and die on accident. So that's helpful for keeping the soil moist. You'll probably need a spray bottle. Sometimes the top of the soil dries out and you need a spray bottle to like get it wet again. And water is needed when the entire thing gets dry. Then obviously you need to like water it, not just spray it. And in addition to that, you are going to need a grow light. Now, I know some people like to stick things in a sunny window and start their seeds that way. I would strongly advise you not to do that because especially where we live in Ithaca, we have so many cloudy days, and it's just not enough light. It's not enough of a day length to be the kind of light that the plants really deserve. Think of the plants here, what the plants deserve. They deserve to be happy. They're going to be happier under a grow light. So what to use for a grow light? You can use a fluorescent light fixture with a grow light bulb in it. So this is going to be kind of blown out, but I'm going to show you where I am right here. See, this is my grow light. This is a fluorescent light fixture that's hung on this bookshelf, and because it's on a pulley, I can move it up and down depending on how big my plants are. I'm going to move them up and down, and I'm going to put it back here so I can talk to you. I want my plants to get enough light evenly on the tray. So I have it about this far away. I would probably put it closer than that when I'm starting at the very beginning. I probably put the light like right here, and then I kind of move it up as the plants grow taller. So I want them to evenly get light on the edges and in the middle. So that's one of the kinds of lights that we like to use. I also love LED lights for starting seeds. This is one of my LED lights. It's probably my biggest and nicest one. This one also hangs from a pulley. So when you're shopping for grow lights, make sure that you're looking for a dedicated light for growing things. You can even just use a grow light bulb if you're just starting a few things. Those are really inexpensive. And another important thing to note is that you need to give your plants 16 hours of light per day. So when you get up in the morning, turn it on. When you go to bed at night, turn it off. Pretty simple. And this gives the plants, when you give them a grow light, it gives them the light they need in the spectrum of light that they need to grow well for you. So now you've grown your plants, you've gotten them to germinate, they're doing well, you're watering them, they're happy. Now what? Now it's time to transplant them outside. But there's something you need to do first. This is very, very important. If it's not done correctly, it could be disastrous. So this is called hardening off. So what hardening off is you're taking a plant that you've grown in this very controlled condition, and you're going to be moving it outside where it has harsher conditions. There's more light, there's more temperature fluctuation, and so your plants have to get used to that. So the first day, you're going to take your plants outside for an hour in the shade. Then you're going to take them inside. The second day, 2 hours in the shade, put them inside. And if it's cloudy, sometimes I count that. If it's really overcast, I count that as shade. Anyway, so every day I add another hour. So the third day I do 3 hours in the sun, then 4, then 5, then 6 in the sun. So by the 6th or 7th day, or about the 6th day, I know that the plants are probably hardened off, and they're gonna transplant a lot better and not die like they could have if I didn't harden them off. So that's all I have to say about seed starting in 15 minutes. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have. I love talking about this. My husband loves talking about this, so we're happy to help you in any way we can. And yeah, I hope that if this sounds interesting to you, I hope you'll give it a try. And thanks for watching.